Morning, Sal.
Good morning, Ben.
How are you?
So far, so good.
Good.
It's early.
Yeah. Morning, Adrian.
Hi, Adrian. You can't hear us yet.
Yeah.
Hi.
Morning.
Sorry.
Oh.
I have like so many screens here, and I'm like, that's why I look. My desk is like multiple screens.
Yeah.
That's why I'm always looking, and I have how to get my unmute off over there. Happy
I have
first.
one huge screen now, and
Oh,
I like it a little better, although I don't have I used to have a landscape
oh
and a
yeah.
portrait, which was nice, but
Yeah, I have three screens because I'm multitasking.
Wow, it's like you're
well,
trading stocks
It
or
is like
something.
you walk in, you have like this. Yeah, I am constantly moving. I'm like,
yeah.
that's how my brain works. I don't know if I could work on one screen.
I just got my laptop.
I know. Like when I travel, I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like I'm on a laptop and I'm like, this is crazy. Oh. Anyway, that's why I'm looking around because I
Yeah.
have my setup is always, it's like this big world of computers. So,
Hey,
ah,
hey, Deborah, I just want to say thank you so much for like all your interest in this process and like your feedback. It's been
yeah.
really, you folks have really
Oh,
stuck with it. It's been great. Thank you.
okay. Well, thanks for the thanks. Good morning.
Good morning.
Um, oh, is this public comment time?
No, not yet.
No.
We haven't started yet. But yeah, no, that's one of the first things we'll do.
Okay. I
You know,
missed it last time because I couldn't
I
get
know.
into the damn site.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. And we only have an hour for these meetings,
I know.
so we
No,
try to keep it
it was
we
not
try
your
to keep it
fault. It
short.
was
So
okay.
we're just waiting on Stephanie, I guess, and city staff. Evelyn's out, so I don't know who's managing this meeting.
City staff.
I think Mike, because he was
Mike,
looking for
yeah,
that link yesterday. So
yeah.
I'm assuming.
We'll wait
Yeah.
till a few more minutes till see if everybody arrives.
Oof. Yes. That's better. Actually, I have 11 responses of counting Maggie and Barb. I didn't write in, but I know they did.
Ah, Stephanie, good
Yeah,
morning.
hi. Sorry, I'm a minute late here. I had all kinds of problems this morning. Computer won't start. Kid doesn't want to be left at daycare.
You don't have to
Something.
explain.
Pick something. Yeah. Uh,
Okay, I think everybody I was expecting is here. I will call the meeting of the Montpelier Country Club Road Subcommittee to order. First order of business is to review and approve the agenda. I'm going to suggest that whoops,
Whoa.
that me? Sorry. Okay, I'm going to suggest that we postpone approval of minutes, since I don't think everybody had a chance to review them. Other than that, without objection, the agenda is approved. Hearing none, agenda is approved. Public comment. We have Deborah and Tracy and David. Deborah and Bob, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Can you
Can't
hear
hear
me?
you.
You can hear me?
Still can't hear you.
Oh,
Is it me?
let's see.
Yeah, I can hear. We can hear you.
Yeah.
Sal, can you not hear us?
Oh, okay.
All right.
It's like Friday.
All right. Good
Can
morning.
everybody hear me?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
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 Still there. Everybody hears everybody.
Okay.
Got it.
Go ahead. Yeah, please.
Okay,
Sorry for that.
Okay. I'm wondering if any of you read our posting on the Front Porch Forum, and where I went into a lot of detail about what had gone on in the last minute at the last meeting, and our thoughts. And I did this because I felt that myself and others had become kind of disengaged with the whole issue after Executive Suite's proposal was dismissed. And I felt that I re-engaged after the revisions came in from due, and I wanted to reach out to the community. So I received 11 responses from that posting. I've written a lot of letters, and usually they just go out into the void, and I imagine people going, yes, or you suck, or, various things. But actual responses, 11 responses. And
That's great.
so,
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So,
What did they say?
right. I mean,
On pins and needles.
think they said a lot of different things, but they were all positive as far as the due proposal. Let's see. I think there was one. Was it Bellini there who said something about that was a little off topic? But one, Abby Coulahan, for example, said that I had pretty much lost interest in the whole issue after the Executive Suite, and she is planning to re-engage now. And then let's see, I've got some short ones. Well said, Deb and Bob. Oh, by the way, don't ever call me Deb. Okay. And another one, Seamus Lombardo. Thanks for the detailed notes. I was more engaged last spring, but haven't had bandwidth with my infant son. Catching up via your analysis is really helpful. I agree, there's a lot to like about due, from the increased home ownership to the use of Huntington homes. It's great to hear that due was on solid financial footing, which is key. I also like the community garden, rec space, and preservation of the sledding hill. Eager to re-engage in the process, hope others do too. I appreciated the survey and listening session last spring, eager to participate going forward. And
So
then,
Deborah, were all of these FPF posts in response to yours, or were they private?
There were 4 that were emails to me, and the remaining ones were.
If you don't think the senders would mind, could you forward those?
Yeah, right.
It'd be good to have those
Oh, it was
Sure.
Dave Bellini, by the way, who was the one who said, Montpelier's been talking about CCR housing for over 5 years. It's way past time to actually build something in capital letters. The city discussed building homes on Barry Street for 20 years and nothing. I gave feedback on CCR 5 years ago. I went to the meetings, put dots on, all that. I did dots in the dots. Oh,
Dots.
oh yeah, dots in the 1970s. Stop talking, start building. That's useful. Okay, and but on and on, and then somebody reposted my posting in case people had missed it, and then Fran Dodd very helpfully added links, which I had spaced out on. Added actual links to the city website.
So in the interest of time,
Right.
Deborah, it sounds to me like you are expressing support for the DEW proposal.
Right. I have
And
one more thing to say, excuse me. And then
okay.
I realize my time is up. But I didn't have room to for the last sentence because I ran up against my 5,000 word character limit. Well, the last sentence was, we strongly urge the Housing Committee to choose due and Montpelier residents to re-engage with this process while the window of opportunity is still open. And then what I didn't add, we are not comfortable with the planning department alone having this role. Okay, that's all.
Thank you, Deborah. That's very useful information. Does any other member of the public want to comment at this point? No hands are up. Okay. We will move on to item 5 on the agenda, review of developer vetting.
Great. I'm curious to hear what can be, and keep in mind that there are aspects of this that may not be public. So if you can't share what you've learned publicly, please note that. So curious what folks heard. The process was to get references, to review references and call with people that know the applicants. So
Yeah, I am half done with that. I apologize for that. Part of it is my fault, and part of it is circumstance. I was able to talk with.
Call you back. I saw that you had called repeatedly, and I wasn't sure.
Oh, Kelly, you're not on mute.
Kelly, you're not muted.
Sorry.
Yeah. I was able to talk to Tom Lazan, who's had a 15-year relationship with DEW, including public-private project, city place in Barry. I don't know if I've briefly met Tom, but Tom is a is a very energetic and expressive person, and he had really nothing but good things to say about DEW. Every time I tried to push him to give me an issue where he was dissatisfied, he could not find one. Not to say all those projects went smooth as silk, but actually that's part of the important message. When there were issues, DEW handled them. There was a very hands-on approach by Don Wells, actually, who everybody had Don's cell number, and he wanted them to call for the silliest problem. So, my overall impression really is that, I could not poke a hole in Tom's, and I tried. Great support for their experience, for the team, including Robbie, who would probably be the project manager if he was selected, and Mike, who's the CFO, managing the financial end of things. He does emphasize that Don is, in the projects that he's worked on, he's always been concerned with market information and absorption. When I talked about the size of this project, he thought that because of the phasing, it would not be an issue at all. DEW has been selected for the Prospect Prospect Street project in Barry, which is not scheduled really for, he said something like 2028 would be when that would be starting to happen. So overall, pretty outstanding report for DEW. I have a couple of emails and calls into Seth Creighton in New Hampshire. Have not been able to reach him yet. Sorry.
Keep in mind that Tom Lozon is the mayor of Barry, so he, has an eye to the importance of a public-private partnership. And honestly, if there was any competition there, he'd be able to identify it, but he doesn't.
Yeah,
So
he'd
that's a
jump
good
on it.
sign. Yeah, I think we have to recognize that Prospect Heights is a component here. I think that's important to talk about just generally. It's not
Yeah.
specific to whichever developer we choose, because the LIHTC credits are it's kind of a fixed sum. It's a finite pool. And so whoever's seeking LIHTC, which Chinburg is not technically seeking LIHTC. So I guess that does matter in this conversation, but to do any kind of low income tax credit at this scale, the two projects are pretty much on the same timeline, and we just have to be aware of that. It's just the reality. And both
It's well in,
need this. So
it's well into the future, though. There's no way we can make even an estimate now of how that'll work out. So yeah.
I'll just, Sal, is it all right if we?
Please go ahead.
I was able to connect with John Burke, I believe is pronounced. How is pronounced his name, from New Hampshire Regional Bank, that had financed a couple different projects with Chinburg, large mill redevelopment in Biddeford, another one I believe in Portsmouth. Had very good things to say. Just that they were very professional, very communicative. Really treated, they were the lender, and so really treated them as a partner in the project. To be honest, like when I tried to push, like, is there anything negative you can say? The thing that he said was, sometimes they communicate too much, but it was very positive. That's, I guess, just what I would say. It was, very positive. They had no concerns and, wished us luck on the project. I do have a call. Kathy Byers traveling, and plan to connect with her on Monday to discuss her experience with DEW.
Okay, I'll jump in. So I also had two. I ended up connecting with Chris Parker, who's the Deputy City Manager for Development and Strategic Initiatives in Dover, New Hampshire. I did connect with Jay Zanleone, but our scheduling conflicted, so we are talking today. And so just as a quick summary for Chris, he works with Chinburg in Dover, New Hampshire they have a 25-year working relationship. Once again, very strong relationship, very positive things to say. They've worked on a wide range of projects that include adaptive reuse of historic buildings. That's what they're really proud of, doing historic rehabilitation. They have worked on mixed-use development, residential development, and public-private partnerships. They use TIF district and tax credits to work on these projects. They also was really proud of a family farm property that was sold to Chinburg, and the city was involved just to support that project. He characterized Chinburg as responsive, collaborative, community-minded, a strong and experienced project management team, and a developer that values continuous improvement and feedback. He emphasized that they're particularly good at listening, adapting, and asking how a project can be made better. They're very enthusiastic about development challenges, and noted that his team has become increasingly skilled and sophisticated over time. Once again, I tried to push him on any, constructive feedback that he would wanted to share that would be helpful for our project. And, I think what Ben said, he said they just really over communicated. I think very strong theme here with Chinburg that, very good developer, great project manager, always working to do better next time. And it was a very strong positive reference from Dover, New Hampshire.
Did we have any other input points on that? I don't think so. So we
I
have
mean, if you
two.
want, I can jump in with just a couple things really quick.
Sure,
Following up
Mike.
on yours, Sal. Yeah, I was the project manager for the city on the City Place project in Berry City. So Tom and I did a lot of work on that project with DEW, and yeah, everything he said, absolutely true. They they won the process, and DEW is just exceptional at building out that project. Now that was an 80,000 square foot commercial building. This is going to be slightly different, but um, certainly my experience, what you said that Tom said is I could back up and say, yeah, they were. Once we handed the project to them, they took it was in their hands, and they took care of it. Whatever problems came up, they fixed, and it turned out to be a fantastic project.
Yeah, one of the things, it reminds me, one of the things Tom said was that DEW was exceptionally good at working with local builders, which I think is going to be important for the CCR project, just because of the scope of it.
Yep.
And somebody who is familiar with local contractors and has a track record. I think it's an important asset.
Yeah, and I had also followed up very early months ago. Now, when we first did the first round of RFPs, I had contacted Darren Winham, who was the economic development person with me in Barry, who worked on the City Place project. He is now the economic development director in Exeter, and I noticed the proximity, how close it was, and so I reached out to him and said, "What do you know about these Chinburg folks? These are one of the out-of-state folks that have reached out." He said his experience in Exeter and Chinburg has been nothing but positive. He said these guys are absolutely fantastic, and the city would and the entire region would be in a good place if we could get them to come up and do a project, because they may be more likely to do additional projects going into the future. So Darren was nothing but positive about Chinburg when I reached out to them. So I've personally had good experiences with DAW, and I've heard good things about them as well, about Chinburg as well. So yeah, I think we're in good hands with
with
the
either
backgrounds
one.
of both. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that makes me wonder what's next. I mean, I would hate to postpone a decision because of a couple of phone calls that we haven't made. Ben, you seem poised to
no,
say
Sal,
something.
I think we should make our decision. And
I do too,
think,
and
I
I think
think we
there's
should.
a sort of consensus developing over conversations we've had in open session and executive session as well. Um, so I think we can probably make a decision today to move forward. Um, Stephanie, do you agree that
I do.
we can
I
do
think,
that pending?
if you had any little flags in either of those reference checks, I would say no, but it sounds like none. So you're really in an embarrassment of riches here. This is a real gift to have two incredibly qualified candidates, and really it comes down to which plan. Both are feasible, both are going to, work with CHIP, both are going to produce housing, which is what you want. So it's really up to you about what plan makes the most sense for your community right now.
Well, I would say any decision that we make would be, pending follow-up on the two remaining references. But I think we should, I would entertain a motion to recommend one or the other. My sense is, from what I've heard, the input I've heard from the community is a preference for DEW. And I think there's a consensus, but I'd like to hear uh, from Ben, from you and Adrian, here in open session, as to your preference.
Yeah, I mean, I can go. I think, we've spent a lot of time analyzing, researching, listening to our community members, doing our reference checks. I don't feel like we've met, I don't know the exact number, but it's over 20 plus times to talk about this. And so, with the due diligence that we've completed, and I think thinking about the next step and what our community wants. I mean, we've heard very strongly we want home ownership. We want a multitude of mixed mixed home ownerships from starter homes to, condos, townhouses, single family homes. I think, looking at the vision of what we're working towards to build a new neighborhood in our community that will satisfy, you know, Montpelier, because we want to stay within that, Montpelier culture, but also to fit within the market, right? So, what is the market going to drive to help support this type of development? I would fully support DEW moving forward because based on the fact that it is mostly home ownership. I love Schimberg. I think they did great. I think they, their design, they're out of state. They want to emerge into the Vermont market, but I think their number of rentals just didn't align with where we wanted to go. Moving forward to add to the grand list, to move people into homes, to have home ownership, to have affordability. I mean, we do have to have a mix of, some rentals and working with DEW to satisfy the requirements of I forgot what it was called, but you know, we've talked about it.
CBDGDR.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yes. We have talked about this 1,000 times, but all the acronyms kind of move into my brain. So that is what my recommendation is, and that is why I would move forward with them. I think the references are good, they're helpful, but we're going to ask people who support these organizations. I think it would be hard to find a bad reference. So I do not want that holding up this process. I think I'm very
Good.
confident 100% to move forward, to recommend to the full council DEW for this project, for moving forward with the development agreement.
Yeah, I totally
Ben,
agree.
go ahead.
Yeah, I just agree. I mean,
Yeah.
I think we're really lucky to have two great choices. I think DEW, I think, is frankly a clear preference of the community, and I think it aligns with the values that we've talked about. And I'm really just, I just want to make sure the math works and that it gets done. And I think DEW gives me the most confidence for both of those things. Sally did send you folks a draft memo last night that we obviously haven't discussed, but I did it with the presumption that we would be picking DEW and list the criteria that we use to evaluate and, potential reasons. And I just offer it as a starting point for a communication to the council. I think, again, I think it's important to remember what we're doing. If we vote we would be voting to recommend to the council that they select DEW, right? We don't make a final decision. We're just saying we've met 29 times, literally. And we believe that DEW is the choice for the council. And then it's up to the full council to do whatever level of homework they want to do or ask questions. But ultimately it's it's the full council's decision. And also I think it's really important to remember that we're just authorizing the negotiation of a development agreement, right? There's still so much more to go, but I think we just need to be clear about the steps and the decision points.
So, I think this requires a motion to, I would say, to authorize the city manager, the council to authorize a motion to recommend to city council that they authorize the city manager to take the next step in negotiating a development agreement, a letter of intent and development agreement with DEW Properties. Does that satisfy?
The one question I would have is, I think we do. I think we make a motion to, recommend to the full council that they enter into a negotiation with, but who's actually doing the negotiating? Are we saying authorizing the city manager and then we go from there, which I'm certainly comfortable with, but I just wasn't sure Stephanie, if you have thoughts on that.
I have a recommendation. Yes. The negotiating team needs to be lean and mean. It needs to be a group that can be very nimble in order to execute this on any appropriate timeline. So I would highly recommend, this is how it's done in every community, to have the city manager, me, and your attorney. And then I would add, in this case, because Mike Miller has been so involved all along, he's got that history, it's really important. I would add him, and then you could add a city councilor. That's optional. That's not always done, but I would suggest it could be done here if that would feel more comfortable for the full council, unless they want to deputize in which case that's fine too. It's done either way, but I would say that's the max. You would go with 5. And it doesn't need to be all 5 in every meeting either. It's just that you're empowering that group to get this done.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, I think it was in DEW's proposal. They said that they requested that it be a negotiating team of no more than 5.
Oh, is that right? I don't remember that.
Yeah, I think maybe I'm confusing with Chinburg, but I think it was DEW.
Yeah.
No, they did. That was in there. Yeah.
And it's because this isn't our first rodeo. And you might remember actually, so the project that almost made me leave this industry years ago, we had fully developed a development agreement with DEW and the hotel. The city did do that whole process. So there's a full suite of experience that I've had in working for the city, negotiating with DEW. They have an in-house counsel who's very capable. And so this won't be starting from scratch in terms of public-private partnership, even though that project didn't go forward.
So let me review the language of what I think our motion is. And I believe I'm allowed to make a motion, so why don't I just move?
Yeah,
I will move
move it.
to recommend that the city council authorize the city of Montpelier to enter into negotiations for a letter of intent and development agreement for Country Club Road development, housing development with DEW properties.
Mm-hmm.
Does that work? We're recommending it to the council to authorize the city. And how, what shape that negotiating committee takes is up to the city to decide.
It could be authorizing Kelly, and then Kelly can be in charge of the committee that she pulls together to do it.
I think that's actually probably. Could I recommend, Sal, a friendly amendment that we do change it to the city manager, and that Kelly pulls together that team, and obviously the council will be part of that conversation.
Yeah, no, I like this the way I originally stated it, and I changed it, but I'll change it back.
Thank you.
So the motion then is to recommend that the city council authorize the city manager to enter into negotiations for a letter of intent and development agreement for Country Club Road housing development with DEW properties.
So are you moving that, Sal?
I'm moving that. Is there
I'll
a second?
that. Yep.
Yes.
All in favor?
Yes.
Right. All opposed? None. All right, it's unanimous. Thank you.
Okay, so my recommendation was then to talk about what materials need to go to the council and what we should pull together to get them prepared for their, decision making. We agreed that we should get this to them next Wednesday, which is the 15th, to give them enough time before the 22nd meeting. And I think we want to make the package as thorough as we can so that they can understand how you got to where you are. And then I can also talk about the steps that happen after that, which I want to do before the end of the meeting, but I think the council materials is important. I am happy to help pull that together. So I think there's likely to be a need to bring together, they haven't seen, I don't think, the things that are on the public. Actually, Kelly, that's a question. Sorry, let me back up. Have the confidential materials from June been uploaded to the SharePoint that you internally can circulate to the council members?
I'll have to double check that. I believe that they were sent everything that was received as
I think they were too. I think they were too, because I remember going back with Evelyn. But so pointing them to those as, additional data. The memo you provided, Ben, as a draft, I haven't had a chance to read it thoroughly since last night. But did you have a piece in there about financial?
I didn't. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I think that that's something that I wasn't
I'm
really
happy to
sure how to
add that.
handle. I just put
Mhm,
like, we're making this recommendation based on these
mhm.
criteria and this evidence, but I didn't include, I just in general terms said that the financial viability of DEW was a
I'm happy to
consideration.
write a piece. I could potentially write a memo from me to you, to the subcommittee, or to the council, actually, to the council, to just explain my process of vetting DEW and why I think they're in good position. I could also summarize the Chinburg too, if that would be helpful, if you think they need additional data.
Well, that's a good question. I think they maybe they don't need as much information, but I think they need to know that they need to have something to compare. They need to see what our
Yeah.
process was, what we
Mhm.
were comparing.
Yeah. And it won't be lengthy. It's kind of what
Yeah.
what I shared with you all in the last meetings. So I'll go ahead.
I think a memo from you is a good idea. Yeah.
Sure. I'll add that in. So what else could go between the memo from Ben or memo from the subcommittee and then
Well, Stephanie, can you just talk? Sorry, I just want to is the memo that you're going to write based on like the financial viability of the
Yeah.
two projects? So
Right.
it's just like the pure. So like mine's kind of much more general of like
Yeah.
these are the reasons, and then
Mine's very
as
narrow.
part of yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah, mine's going to
Yeah.
be on financial viability and the chip viability.
Yeah. Okay, that makes. Great.
I could also then look at your memo and if Adrian and Sal, you have edits you want to make to that, you send them to me.
Okay.
I can pull that together. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. What
I will
about?
say,
Go ahead, Ben.
sorry, I just want to say I spent a lot of time talking about DEW. Like I didn't spend time on the memo talking about Chinburg. Right. And so I just want to point that out because I felt sometimes like less is more and it's already at 3 pages. So I didn't feel like the need to do it, apples to apples comparison. I just said, this is, both proposals are great. These are the reasons that we're moving forward at this time with DEW. But if you folks feel like we're going to get it, I guess it's some financial component to it, but if you want to, you know what I mean? I just want to be clear about.
Yeah, no, I think there are good reasons you did that. Go ahead, Adrian.
Yeah, we don't need like a 20-page memo, but I think
Right.
it is important, right? So I did scan the memo and I'll provide some feedback. But I would want to know, right? So I think you will make a very clear argument as to why yes, right? So focus on the positive, focus on, moving forward as this is why. But I would also like to know somewhere, I don't think it needs to be extensive because I mean Chinburg is still, excellent developer. Like we were in a great place to make decisions, but I think with Chinburg, I think one of the big things that, they're really good at, but wasn't in alignment with our community was the number of rentals. And so I think for me, that was like a big deciding point. And I think I mean, I don't know if everyone else felt that way, but maybe I'll say that during the meeting. But I think we do need to provide a reason, like why not Chinburg and why DEW, but
The,
not like a whole thesis.
the rentals and the land plan, right? I
Yes,
think
that's
Yeah.
right.
Al pointed out the
Yeah.
provision for rec
Yes.
not meeting what the vision was for the balance of rec. So I would say those are your two. It's good to have two pillars there to talk about.
And some of that is we just got a very lengthy endorsement from Turtle Island, which I think it's important. There are important points in there that were part of our decision making. And I do agree, Adrian, that we do need to address those issues, but not in the depth that we would for DEW. Kelly, please go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, you can have a recommendation memo. I think that makes sense to focus on who you're selecting, but I think when you present to the full council, you should be prepared to compare why, because if you I don't want you caught on the spot if suddenly you have some important voices pointing out Chinburg as a great option, like, I think you need to be able to articulate or prepared to articulate why, you don't think that they rose to the top.
To that end, I would suggest, that follows exactly the line of thinking I had, Kelly, which was the criteria from the RFP. I would love to see, maybe you need to go back to the scoring to really show that there was strength in one category or another, or maybe not, I don't know, but to address at least all of those criteria to show why these 2 points in particular made the difference in your opinion, because then you have the other city councilors who need to make their own opinion on it. And so maybe they would see the criteria and be able to see it a little bit more clearly.
Yeah, and most of what we've shown people of the criteria is the sort of shorthand version. The detailed criteria descriptions, this document goes into some detail. It breaks down each of the 6 or 7, I guess, criteria into, more finely grained, that I think we considered, but I think the council and the public really have probably been looking at just the 7 headers for those categories. So I think if we look at that criteria list and address some of the detail that's in there, we'll be able to anticipate some of the questions that we'll get and provide answers. So go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I just wanted to go and I don't know, Kelly and I had talked earlier this week about whether or not we would need to put together a staff memo or not, but I at least wanted to kind of put out there a little bit of, so we didn't really have any decision as staff as to which one we approved over the other. The things we did like about Chinburg that you've already heard, and I know it's opposite of what Adrian was saying. As staff, we definitely think having the additional rental is very much what the community needs. Obviously, if you ask the community what they want, you ask people if they want to own a car or not own a car, they're going to say they want to own a car. And that doesn't mean everybody can afford that. And our opinion has been that we think it would be a greater benefit to make sure we had additional rental units, because that's where there's a real deficiency in our system looking at the numbers. We know the public wants that, but from our standpoint, that was the one that we felt. We also felt, at least with Matt and myself, was the design of Chinburg. It's a better design for a neighborhood and a neighborhood feel, but as you pointed out, Sal, and Stephanie pointed out, it missed the mark on what we asked for from a landscape plan. And from that standpoint, we didn't come up with any decision. We just wanted to, if we put together a staff memo, it's really to outline a little bit of this is what staff felt was needed. We know the public said this, but from a professional planner and a professional community development specialist, what we felt would be the stronger case would be over here, because you could always additionally build out. Chinburg had a bunch of land that was left that could then be built for single family homes.
Yeah.
And so that was a little where we were leaning to, but at the same time, I mean, we've got 2 great applications. DEW is great. I just think their design is weaker, but at the same time, we still have an opportunity in negotiations to go back and say, there are a lot of things you could do better. We like the townhomes in the Chinburg model. It offers home ownership, and it's going to be a much more affordable home ownership as opposed to the single family detached options. And people like that, but I think once we start rolling out these single family detached homes, I think people are going to say, hey, I thought these were supposed to be affordable. And it's gonna be like, well, you can only make them so cheap, so inexpensive. They're gonna still be very expensive new homes. And that's a little bit is what gets us concerned. What got Matt and I concerned is DEW lands a little bit more on the left and the right of the affordability spectrum. We've got a number of affordable subsidized units, and we have a number that are going to be there's the missing middle is still going to be missing middle. Unlike we thought Chinburg was hitting a little bit more of the missing middle, even if they weren't doing enough of the single family detached and as much of the affordable. DEW will have even more subsidized affordable, and they will have even more single family detached, which is the most unaffordable model to go with. So that's from your professional staff standpoint, that was where we kind of leaned and said, but if we write anything, it's not going to be to say that we disagree with your direction. We just wanted to make sure you knew what our opinion was, but that our opinion, we weren't here to try to argue and dissuade you from picking DEW, because we actually think it's going to be a good option and it's going to work. From us wearing our professional hats, we would say the design was really superior in Chinburg's, but it missed the mark. It was we told them you missed the mark, and they came back with a new model that still missed the mark, and
they missed the mark twice. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And from that standpoint, we agree with you. We can't really go with that. We were pretty clear up front. We were clear with the public.
Yeah.
And therefore we'll be okay.
They also made Turtle Island very nervous about the surrounding area. But in terms of rent own, I mean, DEW has made it clear that they're interested in market study and absorption, and they've phased the project. And it may be that, yes, people think they want to own, but it may be that after phase one or in the middle of phase one, we find out that really rental is working for more people. And then we have, I mean, I would much rather see townhomes, actually, because they're denser and they just make more sense energy-wise. There's a lot of reasons. And I assume that can be part of our negotiation. I'm not sure. Anyway, I just wanted to, before I forgot, comment on that. Thanks, Mike, for that. Stephanie, go ahead.
Just a small, not counterpoint, but relational point to what Mike was saying. That I will note that the other reason that I thought that hasn't been named, but I think I heard from you before, but should probably be articulated, is that the community, as well as this committee, talked about the integration of different product type, like a real one street has multiple types of units, and that's what DEW provided. That it's not all multifamily in one spot and single family in another. This is very much integrated in DEW's plan with a variety of product, from a multifamily from downstreet really big one to an 8-plex, 6-plex, 4-plex, 2-plex. That was such an important, I heard that a lot come up at the public stuff back in 22, 23. So I think that's important to recognize that they did a good job of addressing. And then also the other piece about rental versus owner, keep in mind, when they say they're going to sell, they did not say only to people choosing to live there. Like, they could be selling a chunk of these themselves and not doing the renting, but that may become, because of the market, a rental. The 8-plex may be 8 rentals from another landlord. That's very possible. And that's, very likely. They're not in the business of being big landlords as Chinburg is. So that's why it gives you there's a little more flexibility with DEW. But yes, and to go back to market, it will so depend on what is feasible when it's time to put shovels in the ground and do pre-sales. So, okay, to that point, so I did have one piece of financial information that I was planning to share in executive session because it was part of my due diligence, but I don't know that we have the option to go into executive session. We don't have a link for that today. It may not be critical
I have a link I can send you if the
You do?
committee wishes to. Yep.
Okay. I don't know if that's what you'd like to do, subcommittee, but it just as it relates to what I'm writing up, I just wanted to be clear about about that. It won't take long.
Well, yeah, I have no objection to doing that. It won't take long. We can come right back out. What do we
Yeah.
got? Quarter of?
4 minutes tops. Yeah.
Okay. Mike's invited, I assume.
Yep.
Okay, and Kelly is invited.
Yep.
Okay.
We-
So we need what? A motion? What is this?
We need a
Contract
finding.
contract related, or do
Oh,
we need
yeah.
a find?
Yeah.
Do we need
Yeah,
a
it's
finding?
about how it would factor into the LOI and DA.
Well, I don't have the VSA in front of me for contract. Do you
It
have
was in
that?
here. I think it was on the agenda, wasn't it? Proposed executive session to discuss financials and confidential
Oh,
material.
yeah, there it is. Okay. And because it's contracts, I believe it does not require a finding. Well, this is A1A, which does. I thought contracts is A2. Am I wrong about that?
I believe you need to do a two-part motion here.
I'm happy to do that, to use the language.
Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah.
Ben.
Okay, great. I move to find that premature general knowledge of financial information related to these proposals will clearly place the city or person involved at a substantial disadvantage by disclosing confidential financial information.
Second? Adrian, all in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye. Great. Can I do the second motion?
Please do, yes.
I move that we enter into executive session to discuss confidential financial information, and I invite the city manager and planning director under the provisions of Title I VSA Section 313A1A of the Vermont statutes.
And Stephanie.
And Stephanie Clark. Thank you.
Second. And without objection, approved. So the link is in our email, is that?
Yep.
Yes, I just sent it.
Okay, and we'll meet back here right after.
Just
See you
a few
there.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just waiting for Ben. Okay, without objection, we will exit executive session. All right, we're over time. Next steps. We talked about a memo, Stephanie, from you, Adrian and I commenting on Ben's draft recommendation. What about the presentation at the meeting itself? I mean, what form is that going to take, and how are we going to put that together? As I'm reminding myself here that I have grandchild care all of the coming week.
Your what? Your what?
Grandchild care.
Oh, giant.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, what are we anticipating? Go ahead, Ben.
I have to say, I wasn't really envisioning a presentation. Like, I feel like there's a memo, and
Q&A. I mean,
certainly Q&A, right? But like, I mean, Adrian, you're the master of the PowerPoint presentation. If it's something you want to do,
I love PowerPoint presentations. I think visually, like accommodating all adult learning principles, I feel it's very important for people to see, to hear, to review, especially like this is a really important project for Montpelier. And we're making a really big decision. I think I will be more than happy to put together just a couple slides, I think, to bring everyone along the journey with us, which will accompany our memo, which is reading, and people can absorb that way. They can see the slides, they can hear us talk, right?
And the public may not
it's just the
have
best
read
way.
the public may not have read the memo.
Yeah.
So I think a quick slideshow for the public.
I'll do it. I'll put together.
I'm convinced. Adrian, thank you for your leadership.
And I will ruthlessly edit it down to a few slides.
Yeah, Sal is so good at
crazy.
editing my verbiage because I talk a lot. So yes, thank you. We're a very good team.
And
Right.
I suggest if you can all get me your comments on Ben's memo draft by end of day Monday, the 13th.
Okay.
Is that reasonable? So that I can assemble that on Tuesday and Wednesday. And Kelly, I will work with you on citations to parts of the materials, make sure that materials are in at their access, because I will probably point to some of the confidential materials. And excuse me, and then the financial memo, I can have that also to everybody by like Tuesday morning, and you can review that too if you'd like, if there's any comments that you have on that. So I think we can have a tight package ready for the 15th to go out.
Okay, good deal. Item 8 is legal next steps. It sounds like we can't really skip that.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
But Kelly, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I saw your hand go up, Kelly.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to close the loop on whether you all will be finalizing the matrix, the scoring matrix that you used as a resource for all of this. I think we talked about it, but it wasn't clear to me if that was something you wanted to have as a resource to share.
I would actually love, for the process perspective, I would love to have all three of you send me your quantitative matrix, just quantitative. And just send that to me. I'll assemble and average them between the three and maybe make a reference to that in your memo. I can suggest that back out. So if you send that to me by the end of Monday as well, I will go ahead and get that back out. Thank you, Kelly. And okay. Also for the item on the 22nd, I have a commitment till about 8. I'm going to be on a train. Since I was on till 10:15 for my one item a couple weeks ago, can I please request a later time on the agenda? Would that be okay to please accommodate me? Okay, I'm throwing that in there. So the legal steps, I talked with our attorney. He is he agrees with me. So we're gonna jump right into the LOI. I just want to clarify what an LOI is. It is non-binding, but it does set out terms And so you're able to just bounce back. It's bullet point kind of, it's very short and it's supposed to be short and sweet, get to the heart of everything in kind of succinct terms. It also then covers confidentiality and, oh my God, forgetting the other word, exclusivity. So that it is a binding only in those two ways. So it binds them to confidentiality and us to confidentiality around certain items, and it binds us to exclusivity with them during the negotiation. That's important for them. That's important for us. So that will go to City Council when that's done. We've targeted September 7th to have that completed. So we're going to jump right in after July 22nd to doing that, and Craig is ready for that from down Drackland. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then that will come up, and Kelly, you and I can put our heads together about the team. And then once that LOI is done, then they develop the full development agreement, which is much more meaty and or much more lengthy and has all of the verbiage that's needed, but it's hopefully based on all the substance from the LOI.
Okay, good, great, thank you.
I can spell that out too if you want. If you think that would be helpful for the council to know, I can put some of that in the big memo.
Do we need to schedule another meeting between now and what?
I don't think
The 15th? No?
No.
Okay.
If
we find that we do, we have time. So, all right. Other business? None. Anything else at all? Okay.
I just want to say thanks to everybody, like literally everybody on this call that has worked hard to get us to this place. Like, we should celebrate that.
No.
Yeah, no, it has been a haul. All right, thanks everybody. The meeting is adjourned at 9:15.
Have a great weekend.
You too.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.